गुड डे फ्रेंड्स, यू आर वाचिंग टैक्स दोस्ती वीडियोस। एंड अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ कि अगर मैं हमेशा चाहता था कि एक रिसोर्स हो, एक डॉक्यूमेंट हो, एक न्यूज़लेटर हो जो आपको डेली के डेली जो पाकिस्तान में इम्पोर्टेंट टैक्स लॉज, केस लॉज, रेगुलेशंस बनी हैं वो आपको दे, तो ये हुज़ैमा एंड इकराम की है टैक्स न्यूज़लेटर। डेली अलर्ट सर्विस है, ये आप सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं huzaima-and-ikram.com की वेबसाइट पर जाके, या ए पब्लिशर्स जो उनके हैं। February 21st 2023 आज का दिन है, एंड वील बी गोइंग थ्रू दिस न्यूज़ लेटर। एंड इन दिस न्यूज़ लेटर, as it says, this daily newsletter service Monday to Friday is aimed at keeping you informed about tax and fiscal matters. So it's very important that as a tax practitioner or as a CFO, as a person sitting outside of Pakistan interested or who has invested in Pakistan, you should know about the taxation and fiscal matters. So in this newsletter you will see news, legislative changes, meaning changes in law, case law, in-depth articles, analysis, and this is really something very wonderful for every tax student, be it ACCA, CA student. And you can see that if you are in Pakistan, you can subscribe it for per month 1000 rupees, which means that for about 25 20, you'll get 25 newsletters, and you'll get it every day, so you'll be totally up to date. And if you subscribe for the whole year, it's 10,000 rupees. This is the email through which you can subscribe, and this is just like this video of Tax Dosti. This is disclaimer that this is just material for publication and not advice. Let's see GK, what have we on February 21st 2023. So local bailouts or death blows, this is the article. The news is tax the rich, help the poor. IMF advises Pakistan. PM will soon present plan to reduce expenditures. National Assembly NA passes 170 billion budget to fulfill IMF demand. Dar claims new taxes to cut budget deficit. Cigarette sales decrease after hike in taxes. Dar hopes president will sign finance bill soon. So in the news section, there is a lot of talk about this law, Finance Supplementary Bill 2023, and it has been passed by National Assembly. So if you are a student of taxation or finance, or if you are a professional, this newsletter will also give you every day what's happening in real time. And after when you do any case or any hearing or anything, you'll exactly know when was the finance bill, for example, this supplementary bill passed from the National Assembly, when was it ascended by the president. So it's really very helpful, and you should subscribe and go through this. In this newsletter, we'll also see a case law which is local, MS Tufail Chemicals versus Province of Sindh and other regards. Huzaima Bukhari, editor. This is the publication. These are the address, because definitely after this video, everyone will be asking in the Tax Dosti group, as well as Tax Dosti WhatsApp group, as well as Tax Dosti YouTube channel. I'll have comments saying, sir, what is the address? Where can I get this newsletter? So you can email them and subscribe to this email letter, a newsletter, and you can go walk in if you are in Lahore to this place and get other textbooks also, or you can call them if you are in Pakistan or out of Pakistan, or you can email them and get not only this newsletter but wonderful books that Dr. Ikramul Haq, my teacher, has written on income tax, sales tax, company law, etc. Now, this is the article written by Dr. Saab, bailout or death blows. We'll keep this video short. So, basically, Dr. Saab has said that do these IMF bailout work, or are they death blows, meaning that we are digging our own financial coffin, meaning our own financial grave, when we are taking loan after loan to repay loans. So this is his argument, and he has given International Monetary Mission on completion of recent visit for further under ninth review. Consider was made on policy measures. Press release, IMF situation that timely and decisive implementation is a must. Then on February 13th, 2023 Economic Coordination Committee. This is the highest economic body of the government, which is in the cabinet. Hiking of gas tariff, bulk commercial, export oriented CNG. Then our rulers. So this was something that has happened in the past 2 weeks. Now Dr. Saab, as his experience and knowledge is giving a context of starting from 1960. Our rulers since 1960 have developed addiction for intake of foreign loans, and then he explains all the different times when foreign loans were taken, what were the amount, what was reported, what was expected by the IMF, and what we did. So we need to overhaul the inefficient tax machinery. Our untaxed income wealth is 16 trillion. This is very important. Dr. Saab is saying that 16 trillion rupees are produced every year, and only no amount of tax is collected on them. So if we manage to collect even extra rupees 18 trillion in the coming 3 years, country will not require fresh loans. So basically, income wealth of 16 trillion is produced every year in Pakistan. So electricity and every resource is used. Profits are produced to the tune of 16 trillion, and in 3 years about 50 trillion of profit is produced. Out of that, even if we tax it at 30%, we'll get 8 trillion rupees in 3 years, and this will fulfill not only repay back loans, but we won't need fresh loans. So this figure is very important whenever you discuss the tax problems of Pakistan, because you should have your facts figures right. So here in this article he has clearly written that this is the amount of profit being produced, this is the tax amount that can be taxed, and he also gives the procedure, and according to Constitution Article 148 and others, he explains all this. Now coming to news, you can see that IMF is saying, and this was to my surprise, that tax the rich, help the poor. So the managing director on a TV interview has said that the people who can afford to pay tax, they should pay tax, so that the poor people of Pakistan and the middle class are not burdened. And then this is further explanation of what she said. So I think it's important that we decide, the lawyers, the chartered accountants, the people who are sitting as tax commissioners, and the people in government finally decide that they should tax people who have money, and if they are taxed, they will not get any poorer, or they will not feel the pinch as compared to a poor person who is now unable to meet his living expenses. The next is PM will soon present plan to reduce expenditure. So this news is just news, and even if the fixed tax has been imposed from 75,000 to 2,50,000 on business class of flights. So there are very few flights, business class flights, and people can easily say that they're going in economy class, and they can bypass this thing. So this is just makeup for which Dar Saab is very famous. National Assembly passes 170 billion. This is actually what he has done. He has put on more taxes on you and me, so that the rich can easily survive this crisis also that is currently in Pakistan. And he has done it beautifully, convincing everyone, including himself. That's the biggest thing, that Dar Saab is convinced himself that he is doing great wonders. Izaq Dar Saab is doing great service to the country. The link is also given from where the different articles have been taken. Dar claims new taxes to cut budget deficit. Now definitely there is a direct relationship between budget deficit and taxes. As the taxes are raised, the budget deficit should be reduced, and it is the budget deficit and the current account deficit for which Pakistan needs loans and IMF bailout. So if these budget deficit and current deficit is reduced drastically, we won't need loans. And for repaying loans, you have already seen that Dr. Kramal has suggested that 8 trillion rupees of taxes can be raised in the next 3 years by taxing the rich people. Cigarette sales have already in the formal market have reduced because they have increased, but in the black market their sale has increased. And since we are connected with Afghanistan, Iran, India, and other countries, so easily cigarettes can come and go from there, no questions asked. Dar hopes President will sign finance bill without delay. So now this supplementary bill, which has imposed taxes of 170 billion, has to be signed by the president. Then it becomes law, and then it will be added onto the prices. For example, in this bill, as we will see next, this is the text of the bill, and it has not become law, but as it amends Section 3 of Sales Tax Act 1990, which says that now sales tax on goods will not be 17% but 18%. But you'll be surprised to see, if you go today in any big supermarket, they have already increased the prices of their products. Why? They are saying to people that sales tax has been increased, but sales tax has not been increased. It's still 17%. When the president signs this bill, what bill? This bill, which is called the Finance Supplementary Bill 2023, when the president signs this bill, then it will become, so from that date onwards, suppose he signs it on 22nd of February, so the supermarkets and people can increase, the business people can increase the prices by 1% then. But they have already, as soon as this was declared 5 days ago, they have already and you can easily go and see in local markets as well as supermarkets, as well as luxury brands, as well as consumer goods or food item. And this is the psychology that the government, people say, लोग कहते हैं जी कि हुकूमत चोर है, लेकिन अवाम उससे भी बड़ी चोर है. अभी तो हुकूमत ने टैक्स लगाया नहीं है, 17 से 18, 17 से 18 किया नहीं, लोग उसको 25% बढ़ा दिया. Next, you can see that in the sales tax they are affecting the rate, and in the sales tax 8 schedule they are increasing rates of different items and food items. And in the income tax now they propose, in the capital asset portion, the person acquiring a capital asset being shares of company shall deduct advance tax adjustable from gross amount paid as consideration for shares at the rate of 10% of the fair market value of shares, which shall be paid to the commission by way of credit to the hand. So if you buy shares more than its fair market value, you will have to pay tax. So this was another way of reducing your tax liability. It was a loophole in the tax law which has now been plugged. And in section 37A, another section has been made. The functions and gathering tax has been increased from 5% to 10% on functions, and there has been change in Federal Excise Act, which directly affects us all, because it is a tax on different items produced. So different items have been changed, like sugary fruits, the tax on them has been increased. So you can see that this is a very, very useful newsletter to collect digitally, as well as if you get a hard copy of this, because even if you have update service with the book of Dr. Ikran Haq, even that comes after a month. Now if you get this newsletter every day, you'll be updated with every kind of tax information, and your tax knowledge, experience, and the process. If you are a tax advocate, you stand before the tribunal, or the judge of High Court or the Honorable Supreme Court, you will not only be able to tell about the law and its meaning, but when it was passed, what was the legislative intent, what were the circumstances, economic, financial. So it's a great learning tool to get through. In the High Court, this is the case that we'll briefly see in the newsletter given. It was decided on 16th of February 2022 hearing, and let's see. It appears that the matter pertaining to levy of sales tax on toll manufacturing are pending since 2016. So it's a very important case, since toll manufacturing was the subject of taxation by service tax laws of the provinces as well as GST, General Sales Tax Act 1990. So it needed to be decided, is toll manufacturing a service or is it goods? So this is the decision of Sindh High Court, and in this they have taken up the matter and they have discussed it to come up interim to continue till next hearing of a stake. As noted, a dispute is between the province of Sindh and Federation that toll tax after 18th Amendment, whereby 49th entry 49, the fourth schedule of the Constitution says that collection of sales tax is the responsibility of Federation and of the service tax is of provinces. So the province of Sindh is collecting service tax on toll manufacturing. However, the province is being compelled to give this money back to the Federation. So here they have said that toll manufacturing rests with FBR. It is no more a service. It was further, there is no legal ground to, was through a service from the date of Sindh tax. So you can read this, and here it was held that no sales tax is even payable on conversion charges for doing such, and it is only thereafter that was amended to include levels of tax on toll manufacturing process. So this is where the problem started, that in Sales Tax Act 1990, clause 33 of section 2 in the definition section, toll manufacturing was included in the preview of sales tax. The general meaning of toll manufacturing is that if you take something and give it to another manufacturer and you say that manufacturer this bed for me, this cupboard, or for example this product for me, I am giving you the raw material. So that is called toll manufacturing, where you can manufacture a product but you give someone else the product to manufacture. So is that manufacturing and the product produce goods, or the charges you are paying is only services, because then you buy back that finished good and sell it under your own brand name. So you can go through this decision, and I think this is all petitions have been disposed of. So we'll read the last paragraph. In view of here above fact circumstance read with 26, all these petitions are disposed of with observation that during the period under dispute before us, the tax which has already been paid to the petitioner to the Federation in respect of toll is their final discharge of liability in respect of sales tax or under civil, and they will not be obliged to pay any further sale tax on such activity. As a consequences therefore, any proceeding initiated by the province of Sindh under the 2011 Act of this Act stands abated, disposed of in this term. Whereas if at all the province intend to get any share out of the sale tax already collected, it may approach the Federation for its amicable settlement. Now the Sindh High Court, being the Sindh High Court, has favored the FBR and said that in simple terms that all the tax that FBR has collected or the province of Sindh has paid to FBR for toll manufacturing stays with FBR, and it is up to FBR to give it back if they want, for which the province of Sindh should approach Federation. And from now onwards, as you can see that this sales tax was imposed on toll manufacturing, as well as Sindh Sales Tax on Services Act also imposed sales tax on toll manufacturing. So both were collecting. But here they have decided, since I've read the last paragraph, so maybe in the previous paragraph they have cleared this point, but it doesn't seem so, because references of the cases and only few pages of judgment. So it seems like this case has gone in favor of FBR, but there has to be a clear definition of whether toll manufacturing is service tax or sales tax, or goods, toll manufacturing is goods or service, or there should be a procedure to clarify that when the person giving the raw material, when he sells, he has to pay sales tax, and when the toll manufacturer, the person who is manufacturing on behalf of the other person, he should give service. So there should be some clarity, which is, I think, not given here in the judgment. You were watching Tax Dosti videos, and this is very helpful newsletter. You should subscribe to it, and I have in the beginning of the video told you how to subscribe to this newsletter. See you in another video. Since this newsletter is very good, we'll be time and again making videos on this, and through this we'll be giving you news, case laws, legislative history, and a logic of how you can become a better tax professional or a better taxpayer through these videos. Thank you very much. I am your host and tax Dost, Anthony Williams. See you in the next video.